All right. So we are here. We are here at the Morning Banana Show. I'm checking the live streams. We're here coming through live. We're here being recorded on the other camera. And I'm checking the live streams over in the Ukraine right now before we get going in the Morning Banana Show. Ukraine live cam for, well, what is this for? Kiev, Odessa, Kharkiv, Kramatorsk, Slovensk, the Donetsk, and some other place. Looks legit. Nice blue skies day other than their chemtrails. Yeah, Desiree ordered these bananas, so they might not be vegan. But what do you do? Throw them out? I'm not going to eat the outside. Anyway, as usual, when I check the live cams, we got nice peaceful day over here in the Ukraine. Beautiful day to launder some money. All right, well, I've seen enough. Beautiful day there. What else can I tell you? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the recorded show. If you are joining me in the live stream, then we will catch up later. If you have anything to add, we can chit chat after the show is done. So interesting news. What can I tell you? Some interesting news is the Johnny Depp defamation trial. I guess people are talking about that instead of talking about real world events. It's easier to understand. It's easier to understand being abused in a domestic situation, domestic violence, than it is to understand geopolitics. So let's focus on the domestic abuse thing, because most of our brains can't comprehend geopolitics. Man, backhanded insults. Early morning coffee's on 130. The 130th banana turned out to be maybe not organic. I'm still a fan. I had a friend message me the other day saying that, bananas and coffee just go good together. Like you had something going on the entire time. No. So we were talking about vacations last Morning Banana Show in the live streams at the end. Some of the folks in the chat and I were catching up and talking about vacations. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Because now is the time for me to go on vacation, and I want to go on vacation. And Desiree and I have been planning a vacation. So I was telling her, look, the way I am. Once I get working, I just keep working until the work is done. And then when the work is done, then I tell you the work is done. I don't pretend there's no work. I don't pretend I'm busy working when I'm not busy working. So if there's a moment of clarity or a moment in the clear, then I take that moment and I travel. I go do something that I want to do. In this case, my first thought was to take a plane and get the heck out of here. But then now that I've been looking into it because of the erroneous Canadian restrictionism, and even what CEO of WestJet is now asking that the unvaccinated, discriminatory mandates be lifted. I'm sitting here in Niagara in Canada, completely fed up, completely, we've been dealing with this for 2 years, and we've lived through the trucker protest. We've lived through all the end the mandates protests, but the mandates are still there for unvaccinated. It's discriminatory behavior. I mean, for sure. It's forcing medical procedures and medical opinions onto people, for sure. I mean, do I need to paint this star gold just so that people get the point that, we're marked for being different. I'm the control. Reading articles last night about people in BC being paid out now from the Canadian Vaccine Injury Defense Fund, or the Vaccine Injury Fund. Guillain-Barré syndrome, or GBS, is no joke. And so if you are experimenting with vaccines and the government has convinced you to get like 4 every 2 years or whatever, and you wind up with Guillain-Barré syndrome, they've waived all liability, but for whatever reason, they're paying out with this vaccine injury fund to people within the first 30 days who have been injured by vaccine complications or whatever. This Guillain-Barré syndrome guy who's getting paid out wage replacement for the rest of his life. So in my case, say I make $60,000-$70,000 a year, I'd be making that for the rest of my life. But I also have GBS, so I don't know if it's a fair trade-off. I like my mobility. I like being able to chat to you guys. I have some cognitive ability, as you may be able to tell, and it's heightened by coffee, I find. Nothing is worth $70,000 a year is what I'm saying. I don't want to sit at home and make 70 grand a year and also be in a wheelchair. Screw that. What else can I tell you? So it sucks. We're planning a vacation. And I've decided basically to take the kids to Canada's Wonderland. I went there a couple times in my life myself. It's near Toronto in a town called Vaughan. It's really weird. Vaughan is because it's in Vaughan, because Vaughan is kind of like if you've ever been to Orlando, Florida. Orlando, Florida is like in the middle of nowhere. But because of Universal Studios, it's kind of built up around that area. But if you drive 10 minutes in any direction outside of that main area, the tourist area, then you wind up in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of what Vaughan is like until you hit Toronto. So anyway, I said, as a surprise to the kids, they haven't found out yet, that we're going to take them to Desiree. I was saying to Desiree, we should take them to Canada's Wonderland. So now we're just discussing when exactly we're going to go, how many days we're going to be there, and where we're going to stay while we're in Vaughan. So if any of you watching are in Vaughan, hit me up in the next while, and maybe end of June we're going to go. That's my plan. We got to plan it, you know. So yeah, as far as vacations go, if that answers your question, we've kind of decided, as far as the family goes, to stay in Ontario, to stay here until the Canadian government gets their heads out of their rear ends. I don't know how long that's going to take, because they've openly admitted, I mean, this is the World Economic Forum agenda. They've openly admitted to trying to make the unvaccinated lives as miserable as possible so that they will kowtow and go along with the government-approved, mandated, safe and effective, quote-unquote, injections, quote-unquote vaccines. I was looking at the numbers yesterday, and at the U.S. debt clock, looking at the United States' numbers on the debt clock. You can just type this in if you're online. Debt clock. I think it's .org. Go to usdebtclock.org, and then there's a spot on the top left that goes World Debt Clocks. Top left tab. So now I'm looking at the top left tab of usdebtclock.org. And you'll see that the USA is leading the way in national debt. And those numbers are not just red. They're not just red pixels on a screen. That is $30 trillion, the national debt right now. And the GDP of the US, the gross domestic product, is $23 trillion. So, I mean, can you guys see the actual, like the serious issue here? You have 30.4 trillion in debt at this moment with a GDP of 23 trillion. You're owing way more than you're producing. China, with a population of 1 billion instead of 333 Illuminati million, with 1 billion, has 2 times less or 3 times less. So it has 10 trillion in debt. So another times 2 would be 20. Times 3 would be 30. So for whatever. No, that's not true. Times 1 would be 20. Times 2 would be 30. I can do math. So 2 times, you could say 2 times the debt. But anyway, they have 10 trillion in national debt with a GDP of 17 trillion. These numbers are unsustainable. Down at the bottom of this list, you have Turkey with a national debt of 224 million with GDP of 670 million. And if you look at some of these numbers, like Canada, I'm sitting in Canada, we have a national debt of 1 trillion with a GDP of 1.8. So we're doing the same thing. We're in debt to the same amount that we're producing. Public debt to GDP ratio, 104.8%. And the external debt to GDP ratio is 101.59. I'm just saying, fam, that these numbers are unsustainable. And as a man of the house, as a man of my house where I live, I take a look at our finances and I say, I get out my calculator because clearly my brain doesn't crunch numbers. I have to get it in the mindset to crunch numbers. I'm decent at math, but I have to get in a mindset to do it. So I usually will grab a calculator and a piece of paper, and I'll be like, all right, let's make some sense of this. That's how I roll with numbers. But as a man of the house, if we were spending more than we were making, I would say this is a major problem. Congress, lifelong appointed, stay behind Congress, especially in the US, they know this. They know that the whole system is collapsing. So what are they doing? They're laundering themselves money. They're flying over to the Ukraine and picking up 10% for the big guy. Sending billions and billions to Ukraine in foreign aid. Foreign aid is a giant scam. Look up foreign aid, what your country sends in foreign aid to other countries. Foreign aid for what? A scam by any other name is still a scam, right? A bribe by any other name is still a bribe. If I say, for example, and I've dealt with this, by the way, just on a, you guys know we have restaurants, you guys know we have properties and whatnot, but like just on a real nuts and bolts level, get this. I've had customers come into the Rust Check and say, why should we come to your Rust Check? We could go to any other Rust Check. We could go to any other rust proofing place. And I'll say, well, here are our prices. I can show you the products, and I'm the guy who's doing the work. And if I'm not the guy, I'm gonna myself train the guy who's doing the work. I have a certificate from corporate, as far as my work goes. I stand behind my work. So what else do you want? And they'll be like, wow, these other guys will give us these prices at cash. But these other guys, we go play golf with them sometimes. These other guys. And so the point is, what they're trying to say is, I have to give them some sort of ridiculous discount or take them out golfing or buy them supper places to get their business. And I've seen that with my own eyes. And I know that, pardon me, I know that this is how the world really works. And the higher you get financially and in business, it's just how the world works. So let's not get illusioned about it, because you don't have to give your business to anybody. You don't have to vote for anybody. So when financial gifts and money and whatnot compels you, you feel a little bit more motivated. But let's not be fooled. Let's not be naive. When you're giving foreign aid in the tune of billions of dollars and now more weapons and whatnot, that is an open bribe, and you're getting kickbacks. Donald Trump, what, $100 billion? What is it? I don't want to say it incorrectly. To the Saudis. let's look up Donald Trump's when he was in office. Donald Trump Saudi weapons deal. On May 20th, 2017, President Donald Trump and Saudi Arabia's Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud signed a series of letters of intent for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to purchase arms from the United States totaling 110 billion immediately and 350 billion over the next 10 years. I don't even know what to tell you guys. Can you even comprehend that sentence? Can you even, like, we're not in 2027 and America is still selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. And then look at what happened in Afghanistan. Billions of dollars worth of ammunition, firearms, night vision goggles just left for the Taliban. They don't even know how to ride an exercise bike. Videos of them being like in their pajamas riding exercise bikes, and you've given them high-tech military gear, including Black Hawk helicopters. So when we're like, oh, we should give Saudi Arabia aid and weapons and sell, well, why not get in business with them? That's business, Adam. And then you think, okay, let's fund and equip the Ukraine because they're in a war with Russia. Sure. That makes sense. But then look at what they do. They misplace, quote unquote, hundreds of millions of dollars. And they're literally of weapons and cash, by the way. There was pallets of cash in there was pallets of cash in Afghanistan used to bribe and pay local people and local military guys. So when they misplace all that, you're just supposed to stand back and say, this is all legitimate. This is how the government works, you know. We have 22, U.S. veterans a day, or 20 a day committing suicide. We have a homeless epidemic. We have issues in Canada where we've legalized crystal meth and cocaine in British Columbia. We have a drug epidemic. We have a wide open border, which is a total joke between Mexico and the United States along the Rio Grande, with people like making a total mockery of what is supposed to be a border. Thousands and thousands of people right now, as we speak, on June 2nd, 2022, congregating under overpasses near the border, just living there, coming into the United States one by one, thousands upon thousands of people, illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call them. But more importantly, we should send billions of dollars in foreign aid to IMDb actor Vladimir Zelensky. More importantly, we should make weapons deals with Saudi Arabia to the tune of 350 billion over the next 10 years. So in 2027, Saudi Arabia will still be being supplied weapons from America. Canada, the country that I'm in, is sending millions and millions, if not billions of dollars to the Ukraine. So we're just, you don't see what I'm saying? These numbers that I was telling you earlier about the debt are unsustainable. But then you have what you would think, okay, let's use the money that we have wisely. Our politicians are like, nope. We're going to, instead of spending wisely, we're just going to send billions of dollars out of our country, out of our country. Let's not even keep it in our house. Let's go give it to some other country. When I say unsustainable, I mean, I'm being polite. We can't. So we have a few businesses, as you know. So RusCheck's not doing good. For example, say RusCheck's not doing good. You know what we're going to do? We're going to send the money that we do have to one of our chicken restaurants and buy chicken with it. That would be one thing, because that's our restaurant, right? Whatever. It's our restaurant. We don't have a lot of money, but the money that we do have, let's buy chicken with it. It makes no sense to observers, but if you're in the business, you would know what we're doing. Well, they're using it from that one business at their other business. Okay, that's one thing. But what if I just give the money to Tim Hortons down the road, the guy who runs the Tim Hortons, who I don't even know? Hey, you know what? I see that times are tough over there. Why don't you buy some coffee for your customers and make some cash? You can pay me back later. That doesn't even make sense. We need the money here in our businesses. And I'm not saying that like all the money in the world we should keep for Canada. I'm just saying that I'm not a Canadian nationalist, by the way. Don't get confused. I'm not a Canadian nationalist. I'm half American. I'm half Canadian. I'm not carrying around water for the Queen of England. So I'm not going to be waving around Canadian flags and being like, fringe minority. Because, yeah, I'm a fringe minority, sure. But you don't wave around your captor's flag when you're trying to protest the captor. You don't wave around the flag of your abuser when you're in a defamation case against them. Can you imagine? Johnny Depp holds up a Amber Heard flag and he's like, thank you. Doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying that the people who are running this country are toddlers, and we need some adults to be in charge, to talk about these things properly, to show some math, and to be more transparent. I don't think it's going to happen in a lifetime. If you look at the World Economic Forum, you can see that these Klaus Schwab idiots are, these inbred, satanic, communist, neo-Nazi, children of actual Nazis. These guys, inbred clowns, are running the show. So I don't have a lot of hope for humanity. Evil is not taking a day off, but also love is not taking a day off. So if we can be the change and we can meditate, not just leading by example, but doing what I'm doing and talking to the normies, talking to people, showing them charts and graphs, because apparently leading by example isn't enough. I think that the satanic cabal want you to lead by example because you're quiet. It's not enough to lead by example, my friends. I think that this is a whole thing that was sold to us. It's not enough to lead by example. You have to tell them, you have to show them, you have to grab them and say, I am leading by example. Those are my thoughts while I'm finishing my banana. So, I'll put on some music. This is Thistles by yours truly. I can press play. No? Music. That's Thistles. Okay, well, everybody, I appreciate you guys watching the Morning Banana Show and hanging out with me. A little bit of a rant today. Follow me on Twitter at adamjosh.com. The websites are adamjosh.com, mindballs.org. Thank you for hanging out. I hope that you have a great day. Keep in mind, it's not just enough to lead by example. You have to show them. You have to tell them. You have to tell them, hey, you can follow me. These are 13.5-inch guns. I'm vegan. I'm here. I'm telling you. All right, bye, everybody. 13.5-inch guns. I'm trying to turn the live stream off now.